Sting is the creepy spider mega blockbuster horror movie that will show the moviegoers having a spider as a pet comes with great responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Except it's eat people like it's at a Golden Corral restaurant. I will dive deep into the movie review of Sting, and this movie will make you think why kids like to play with weird stuff. Buckle up, it's time to get well into action. I mean eating into action. Directed by Kyle Roach Turner, the movie starts off in New York and an old lady sitting down on her chair knitting when she heard a loud noise crawling through the wall. Sounds like a raccoon in the vent. So she called the exterminator Frank, and this brother shows up whining about the bug people doing his job on his previous job. The old lady don't know or can't remember much of anything, and that's basically her role in the movie. Frank's check out the area and he see a blood trail. As he gets closer to the vent and sees a bloody hat and a worker inside the vent, Frank's freak out and this psychopath spider drag him inside the vent. Before all this happened, we must rewind back to 4 years ago. So the meteor came from nowhere and struck a window in Charlotte's grandma's apartment. Where did this meteor come from? It never told us, and I don't even care to learn. Maybe it copied of Predator when the Predator was dropped out in the beginning of the movie. Speaking of Charlotte, this is a stuck-up brat with a nasty attitude who likes to play with spiders. It's bad enough she gave it a name, which is Sting, but gives it a whistle to notify it when it gets hungry. This is Ethan, who is Charlotte's father. Very nice, sensitive, but very weak-minded, and make all the men look bad at how pathetic weak he is. This is Frank, the exterminator. This is Heather, Charlotte's mom, and this is a stuck-up landlord who don't want to pay nobody for the service, or at least pay half the price for the service. So Charlotte decided to keep the spider as a pet. Whatever Sting's whistle, it means it's hungry. When Charlotte feeds it, using its Spider-Man wide wells and eats its prey. The more it eats, the bigger it gets. Ethan and Heather are going through some rough things like having a newborn baby, finding another job, and struggle to make ends meet. It does not help when the landlord crying about everything and Charlotte with her bossy attitude. So the family are at dinner at one point, and Sting, who is kept in a mason jar, decides to open the jar from the inside and decides to find a bigger meal. Feeding him roaches is like feeding him Skittles. Sting's first victim is a parrot, just minding his own business. The parrot met his demise when Sting ate him like a rotisserie chicken. The landlord freaks out about the parrot dying thing and calls Frank to find out who killed the parrot. Frank disinfected the whole ventilation station but ran to this stuck-up brat crying about don't ventilate her stuff. Oddly enough, Charlotte shows Frank her pet spider and Frank freaks out because the spider wants him at his next meal. Once Frank finished his job, he complained to the landlord about the final bill, and the landlord did not want to pay the full price and blamed Ethan for not fixing the spider issue. While Ethan is being soft and taking heat from Charlotte and Heather about everything, Sting is of course hungry again. This time, Sting decides to upgrade his meal from a Happy Meal to a full-course meal. He sneaks up out of the mason jar again, goes to the vent, probably lands some eggs on the way, and decides to delete this drunk labor. She's too drunk to notice anything due to her losing her family by considering her looking at the family portrait. Unfortunately for her, Sting messed her up for good and decided to send his homeboy to finish her off. Her dog escapes and warns Ethan through the vent, and Ethan finds out that Sting made her a full-course meal. While no one knows that Sting have a time of his life eating people, he's growing bigger and bigger. Charlotte decides to bring a pet spider to this aged neighbor to show her how cool it is. The spider does some unusual things which alert her that it's not a normal spider and wants to run some tests. Running a test on this spider will be your last test you'll be running. Charlotte wants him to keep it a secret but snitch on her by telling Ethan about the spider. Ethan confronts her and of course she's back-talking him like a dog. Ethan is frustrated to the point that he breaks his TV and argues with his wife to the point that Sting shows up out of nowhere, crawling on the ceiling and sting both of them and drag them into his lair. While Ethan getting dragged, Charlotte is too dumb to notice that due to her not listening or listening to her radio on her headphones. But the dog let her know something was off, and now she noticed Sting has taken both of her parents. So Charlotte decided to get homemade weapons by using a mothball and water together and put it in a bottle, and then get a super soaker gun like she's commando like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Forgot to add this psycho spider actually took the baby to his lair too. So Charlotte decides to go down to free her dad and end up in a basement along with Frank, who was grabbed earlier in the film, and now we're back 4 years later. Frank and Ethan had an altercation because Frank, again freaking out with his nail gun in his hand and starts shooting like a lunatic. Sting made minced meat out of Frank, and Charlotte finds her mom and a baby in the well. Apparently Sting wants to upgrade from a full course meal to a buffet and tries to eat all of them, but Ethan saves the day by shocking himself and turning the power on, and Charlotte smashed him with a compactor, crushing it to death. Of course, Sting dead does not mean he probably laid a few more eggs, and we will have Sting 2, the sequel, coming soon. Firstly, I don't like how Ethan's character was weak and pathetic throughout the whole movie. He was getting yelled at, getting cussed out. I thought he made the main character weak. That was embarrassing. Charlotte's attitude was way over the top. She talked to her parents like she don't care, and even dissed the baby about being the bane of her existence. What she really needs is a whooping with a belt or extension cord. Sting is just greedy, and he does not care how he gets his food, but he always wants to eat like a Pillsbury Doughboy. Most of all, there is no way I am taking my chances of exterminating that spider. That spider can have the whole building. Matter of fact, it is best to burn that whole building down despite the cold weather outside. If I hear something that big running around in a vent, I am quitting my job. I am not interested in becoming spider sandwich with an order of fries on the side. The storyline was fairly straightforward about a psychopath who wants to eat everyone due to his irresponsibility of Charlotte. Dark, creepy, suspenseful, and gritty, this movie gets 6 stars by book. Let me know in the comment section, are you going to see this movie and what do you think of it? If you want to see more upcoming movie reviews on my channel, please press the like, share, and subscribe button. I will see you in the next movie review.